Hey guys, welcome to episode 70 of VoiceOFpunk. I'm your host, DJFpunk. Now, I just finished watching, well, I didn't just finish watching, but this is my review of episode 11 of season 7 of Sons of Anarchy, entitled Suits of Woe. Basically, this episode had one story behind it, and it's all about Jax finding out the truth about Tara's death and knowing what realizing that everything that's happened this season was all because of a lie created by Gemma. And I have to say, this episode was really good. I have to say, this is probably one of the best episodes in the entire run of the show. It's not action-packed by any means. It's not action-packed by any means. But, here, ponytail. It's not action-packed by any means, but it's very emotional. There's a lot of emotional scenes to it, and the actors, Charlie Hunnam, Theo Rossi, Jimmy Smits, Katie Seagal, they really... It's my brother's dog. They really knocked this episode out of the park, and he's really distracting me. What are you doing, champ? Anyway, how you doing, buddy? Those actors has knocked it out of the park. I really thought this episode was so well done. It was so well acted. I would say my favorite scene in the episode was when Jax goes to see Juice in prison, and they have that whole thing where Juice reveals the truth, and I like this scene because it almost seemed like, just the way that Charlie Hunnam, the way he plays this scene is he goes through so many emotions, from anger to depressed to sadness and full-on rage. He goes through all these emotions in this scene, and and Theo Ross, ow. What are you doing, buddy? What you doing, buddy? Theo Rossi, him as Juice plays it where it almost seems like Juice is dead inside, and it almost I don't know if many people picked this up, but it almost seemed like in this scene where Juice is telling him, how Gemma killed Tara and what his role in it was. It almost seemed like he was enjoying it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it almost seemed like Juice was it almost seemed like Juice was enjoying telling Jax what happened. He was enjoying seeing Jax tortured. And if that was the case, then I would not be surprised, because it's almost played that way, where Juice is saying all this, and he just says, and you almost seems like he's smiling when he's seeing Jax just break down. Of course, Juice's attitude changes when Jax mentions the death of Bobby, and Jax says to Juice at the very end of the scene, Jax says to Juice, "Thank you for telling me the truth. I'll make sure it's quick." So that pretty much confirms that Juice is dead. And Theo Rossi, the way he plays that out, just that one little tear. I think he even sheds one little tear before he starts saying to Jax, what really happened. And hey, Champy, that's my brother's dog, Champ. Oh, buddy. But before Juice tells Jax the truth, there's that very very little moment, like very slight moment where Juice sheds a tear because because before this, Juice was able to kill Henry Lynn in this episode. With the rat being, Juice forcing Henry Lynn to reveal the tired buddy. Oh, that was funny. You tired, buddy? Yeah. Revealing, like, with Juice forcing Henry Lynn to reveal who the rat was, and I'm not really happy with who the rat is revealed to be. Like, the rat is revealed to be Charlie Parosky. And yeah, it was made very obvious where he shot that guy who was about to out him. Like, who shot him too quick, and Chiz was one who kind of noticed it. But I don't know. I thought that was really, in a way, I don't really want to believe it because it just seems too obvious. But I guess I can live with it if it is the truth. But I kind of wish it was. I just kind of wish the reveal of the rat had a little more oomph straight to it, if you know what I mean. Like, just a little bit more of a shocker. So, like, I would have loved if the rat turned out to be one of the members of Sam Crow. Like, I think I mentioned before, I would have thought that one of the people who I thought was the rat was going to be Chips. So I thought I thought one of the biggest people to be the rat was going to be Chips. Chips, Tig, either one of those two I think would have been a fantastic reveal. But I guess the whole thing is, this whole thing with Gemma, I think that they chose Borowski to be, I think, Kurt Sutter and the writers chose for Borowski to be the rat. I think just to not give so much drama, which I could see why, with this episode being very emotional and very much, this episode is very much a emotional roller coaster. So I'm guessing, like, if they revealed that the rat was actually a member of Sam Crow, it would be too much of a, it would just be too much. But I just kind of wish the rat was a little bit more of a shocker. Yeah, so, they found the secret of the rat, Henry Lynn is killed, and Juice, he was thinking that, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be back, I'm going to get my cup back, but soon figures out he has to tell the truth about Gemma and Tara, and next thing you know, it's pretty much confirmed he's going to die. And Jax pretty much confirms that confirms that Juice is dead, is going to die pretty soon. Now, is he actually going, now, Jax says he's going to make Juice's death quick, which is, I'm guessing, is a little bit showing a sign of compassion and almost like a thank you to Juice. I'm not really quite sure it's supposed to be a thank you to his service to the club for all these years, or just telling him the truth. It might be a bit both, but is Juice really going to die? I don't think so. No. There's 2 episodes left after this, and I think if Juice was going to die, I think he would have died already. Now with that, he may very well die in the next episode or the last episode, which I expect a lot of the characters to die in the last episode. But from the way everything is going right now, I have a feeling that Juice is going to live. It's just my theory. So yeah, this episode was very much just Jax finding out the truth, and the performances of these actors were so good. In my view, it was Jimmy Smith's the guy who plays Nero, he was the one who stole the show for me in this episode. This one scene where, Gemma calls him to her dad's church and her birth home, and Jimmy Smith plays Nero like, even though before she says it, he knows that she's saying goodbye, and Nero, when Nero finds out the truth about Gemma, and Jax calls him, and he answers the phone after Gemma tells him don't, but he does anyway, and it was so well done, because when Jax starts explaining what's happening, the sound cuts, and just cuts to Jimmy Smith's face as he's reacting to what Jax is telling him, and his glaring at Gemma, the shock of his face, like just the shock and sadness on his face was so heartbreaking, but tremendous acting, and how he's trying to keep in it, and he doesn't want Jax to hear him cry. So when you can tell he's holding everything in, and then he moves then he moves his phone away from his face, and he lets out a little cry. And he stops himself, and he puts the phone back to his ear. And that's when he tells Gemma it's true, and Gemma's like, yes, it's true. And Gemma leaves, and that's when Nero finally lets it out, and he just sits down and just cries. He sits down on the curb and just cries. And I thought that scene was tremendous. Very well done. Very good scene. And then, actually, one of my favorite parts of this episode, too, was with Unser. Pretty much Unser saying, after this, Jax, I'm done. I'm done working for the club. I'm done protecting you. I'm done, my loyalty is done. And there's this really great scene, which I think Unser spoke while most of the fans were thinking this season, is, Jax, wanting one more favor from Unser. But Unser has been burned by him so many times and lied to. He's not doing it anymore. He's done. Unser put his foot down. He's like, listen, I'm old. I'm dying. You lied to me too many times. I'm done. Fuck you. Pretty much. And you couldn't help but smile, because Unser is finally standing up for himself, in a way. And Jax, and then him and Jax and Unser get into this small little argument, and Unser, Jax saying, "I want you to do one more thing. This is for Tara." And then Unser says, "Oh, I could give a shit about Tara. And maybe you should concern yourself being more of a husband and a father than being a thug." And he said, and then the one line he says, which pretty much made everyone go, "Ooh, shit." Yeah, that was a little bit too far, but I loved it. Was where he says to Jax, as Jax is walking away, Jax saying, like, "You better watch yourself, old man." And then Unser says, "Oh, what? What are you going to do? Kill me? Add me to your body count? Go ahead. Maybe I should go wait in my trailer, maybe I should go wait in my kitchen in my trailer so I can wait until somebody comes and put a fork in my head." And then that's when, Jax turns around and just fucking punches Nero in the, he doesn't punch Nero, he punches Unser in the face. And, Chibs, he's like, "Jockey, what the fuck are you doing, boy?" And my horrible Chibs impression, but, he gets him off, and, Chibs gets him off, and, fuck. Okay, Chibs gets him off, and, Jax walks away, and then Unser reveals it's all part of a plan that Unser has. And he wanted Jax to get so mad to hit him so he can put him into custody. So Jax would not get hurt, and the club wouldn't get hurt. Or Jax wouldn't get hurt, and everyone else would not get hurt. And I had to applaud. I was like, Unser is such a smart son of a bitch. And I love those moments. I love those moments when Unser is the smartest man in the room. The sounds of my dog, how my brother's dog's sleeping. But I love those moments where you see how Unser is with moments like this. You can tell that Unser was a cop. Was like a reason why, like how good of a cop Unser was, and why he was the sheriff of this town, and how he was able to protect the Sons, protect the club for all these years. So I love moments like that when it shows Unser having his moments. And then the ending scene where Jax breaks down in front of Nero, where Nero is basically the only stable father figure that Jax has in his life, and he breaks down, and then that scene was so well done, with just Nero pulling him into a hug, and Jax crying into Nero's shoulder, saying how can my mom do this? How can she kill my wife? And it was that ending scene was so good. It was so well done. I cannot repeat myself anymore. But this episode was fantastic. I thought even this season, I thought this episode was the best episode this season by far. By far, right now, this was the best episode of the season, and this is by far one of the best episodes of the show. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I don't know when I'm going to be reviewing episode 12, because I think episode 12 comes out in 2 weeks. That's what I've been told. I think it comes out in about 2 weeks, so December 2nd, I think it comes out. So next week, I probably won't have another review out, because it doesn't come out until December 2nd. So what can you do? But anyway, this is my review of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. If you guys liked the episode, if you guys hated it, if you guys think it was one of the best, one of the worst, whatever. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. These are my thoughts. And I'll see you guys sometime. I'll see you guys sometime in my next video. Bye, guys.